ever deeper we head. It is season 3 and we're moving through the middle. So take a journey with me as I watch through Star Wars Rebels for the first time. Well, hello there. My name's Jeremy and welcome back to Freeform Disney. Today's big announcement is that we've got a live stream coming up tomorrow, Sunday, for the next few episodes of Rebels right after these ones that we're talking about today. Now that's going to be noon Pacific Daylight Time, so that's 9 p.m. GMT London time over there. And hey, if you are into the MCU, don't forget that Thursday nights at 11:45, so 15 minutes before the hour, you can come join my wife and Natalia and I as we live stream the new episodes for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And by the way, make sure you get there early because they've been dropping them early last week, so make sure you're not getting there on the hour hoping that it won't drop till then. Well, anyway, now then, on to Rebels, so here we go. First up, we have episode 11 of season 3. This is Visions and Voices. So we have an opening briefing, which is, we don't usually get to see the briefings a couple times here in Rebels, and that's kind of got its own neat piece, and a little bit more setup while we're at it, because we're referencing that upcoming attack on Lothal coming up. Definitely feels like setup for potentially the finale, maybe earlier, not sure exactly on the timing there. But anyway, that's not really what's important, that's just kind of the background, because Ezra is hearing and seeing Maul everywhere, and even ends up attacking a fellow rebel and almost kills him with his lightsaber. Yo! Wee. Yikes. Bonus little point, AP5 does pop up in the background for a moment. Well, not background, he actually has some conversations, a couple lines. So it's nice to see him pop in. Not really AP5 and Chopper interaction, and that's too bad, because I'd like to see more of that. Well, anywho, on to the plot of this episode. So Kanan and Ezra head on off to talk to Bendu, see if they can figure out what's going on with the whole Maul popping up thing. And, well, guess what? Maul himself pops up. Having seen a whole bunch of things in Ezra's head from back in the other episode, well, he knows where the rebel base is at, and came there because he needs the rest of the information he didn't get, since Ezra got what he wanted. And he got what Ezra wanted, and something like that, even though they're both kind of after the same thing, but from different angles. And, well, he gets them to work with him because, well, he's got a pretty nice easy failsafe of revealing their rebel base if they don't work with him. So, yeah. Off go Maul and Ezra. And, well, luckily there's a tracker on Ezra, so don't worry, we're gonna have Kanan and Sabine follow them. Easy peasy. And where are Ezra and Maul off to? They're off to Dathomir. Which is cool. I think first time we've seen Dathomir in Rebels here, so it's been a while since seeing Dathomir when it comes to it in that sense, huh? At least if you're watched Clone Wars as well, I should say. Well, by the way, I love Maul's interactions. I love his character. So much freaking fun right there. So yeah, Maul still calling Ezra his apprentice all the time. You got to just will it into actuality, right? And Dathomir, the runes everywhere. It's so nice to see. It's beautiful and tragic at the same time. And then we also get to see all this stuff that Maul has gathered, because he's kind of got his own little home base sitting over there, including a darksaber. Well, not a darksaber, the darksaber. So anyway, they're over on Dathomir because they're going to use some old Dathomirian magic and to go get the rest of that information they both need. And, well, they get it. Cool animation with the green glowing and all that. Oh, it's definitely fun. And now, Ezra knows for sure that he is alive. And Maul seems to be much more clear on where, even though it kind of sounded like he had that information I thought last time around, but obviously he didn't quite have enough. But then we get into the rest of the episode because, well, the debt has to be paid because they kind of use the Night Sisters' magic to do it. Even though all the Night Sisters are dead, but their spirits are still here. And, well, the Night Sisters kind of want lives in exchange so they can actually start the sisterhood back up. So we get some nice possession. So Kanan and Sabine pop up just in time so they can get taken over by the spirits. we get some good fighting in there, some lightsabering, dueling, and, well, yeah, eventually they get away because there's a limit to how far Kanan and Sabine, while possessed, can actually go, because they have to be somewhat close to the altar, which is the source of the power for the Night Sisters there. And that leads to Maul saying, hey, Ezra, let's just get the heck out of here, huh? And if Ezra, of course, says, yeah, sure. And that's the end. Oh, no, probably not. Well, that would be an interesting direction to head. There's a what if for you. We'll do what if Ezra had actually left with Maul and left Kanan and Sabine possessed by the Night Sisters. Whoa. But no, he has a good speech in there. It's just hardly enough to convince Ezra, of course. Not at this point in time, and not with how Maul's betrayed Ezra in the past anyway. So Maul leaves, and then Ezra heads back in, and hey, we get Sabine actually fighting Ezra with the Darksaber for a bit. That's cool. And Ezra is able to actually trick the Night Sister there into letting Sabine get close enough to the edge of that boundary of control, and force pulls her out. So there you go, possession over on one. We still get a bit more fight on the other and a bluff to get through it, and well, Ezra destroys the altar. So there you go, victory. Wonder if we'll see the Night Sisters again somewhere in the rest of Rebels. Who knows? I'd be curious. But anyway, we finished the talk with a little more foreshadowing and clearly going to the fact that we've got a race starting between them and Maul to get to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Dun dun dun. But the final note is Sabine seeing the Darksaber and taking it. So definitely some setup stuff for things that are to come. I mean, again, Darksaber, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, clearly big things coming. Definitely looking forward to that. So now we move on to episode 12, which is Ghosts of Geonosis Part 1. We've got a secret mission for the Ghost Crew. Now, speaking of kind of that thing I said before, speaking of giving secret missions via transmission, yeah, sure, while you're in hyperspace, we'll just, and Bail Organa will even show his face. You rebels ain't the brightest here. How you kept everything secret, I don't know. Obviously, dramatic interpretation. We let that one go. But anywho, Rebel Command sent a previous team to Geonosis to investigate the disappearance of the Geonosians that we went ahead and found out about. I think that was back in season 2? I think it was season 2. That was the Zeb and Agent Callus episode right there. But anyway, they lost contact with that team, so hey, now we've got to go find those people and the intel, and well, hey, Saw Gerrera was the one leading it up, so hey, time to get Saw Gerrera into the show. And for extra bonus points, hey, we're having Rex have to go back to Geonosis again. Oof, there's some trauma right there. Yeah. Now, we definitely have old references back to Clone Wars stuff within here a few times throughout the episode, and that is definitely fun. Heck, we even go to an old temple where the transmission's coming from, which sure as heck looks like the one where the Queen was underneath. I mean, that definitely looks like where that was. Might not be, but certainly looked like it. Well, anyway, the team splits up. Kanan, Ezra, Rex, and Chopper go look for Saw and the other people, and the rest are going after the energy signature, which, hey, guess what? It's a shield generator, apparently. Fully operational. Nice. So we'll definitely go ahead and take that. Anyway, off they go on down, and oh, well, not so great down there because we find lots of empty helmets, so we assume dead people, although no bodies, which is interesting. So maybe they were just captured. Yeah, they were just captured, right? Old Rebels joke right there. And eventually, it's battle droids. You're like, wait, battle droids? Yes. I got somebody controlling some battle droids against him, which is a great time for Saw Gerrera to pop in as the only survivor of his team. And we have nice reunion between them. And so, yeah, onward we go. We find out a Geonosian has been keeping up the droids and the shield generator from Saw. And then we get this little thing starting up with Kanan saying, no, I want to go back, and just getting outvoted. Because Kanan apparently is very wary about continuing to go onward. Not that I know why he has previous trauma on Geonosis, but if we set some up, it would definitely fit for Kanan seeming to be the only one wanting to go back all the dang time. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and finish setting up our cliffhangers to go into part 2. So Sabine and Kanan are pulling out that core on that shield generator, but they're surrounded by, well, they used to be inactive destroyer droids, which then become active, and they've got to activate the shield generator and stay in it. Yeah. So now we definitely have an impetus to go catch that Geonosian that's down there activating those droids. See, we had to have a reason also to have the Jedi somewhere else, so they couldn't go ahead and potentially do something. Although, that's a heck of a bunch of destroyer droids. Probably would have been problematic anyway. Yeah, dun dun dun, to be continued. And with that, let's move on to episode 13, Ghosts of Geonosis, part 2. So, lots more Saw stuff here. It was cool seeing Saw in the first one, but this is where we really get to expand on him and see a lot more. So they catch up to the Geonosian, turn off those destroyer droids, don't worry about that. That's quickly dealt with. And we get to see him interrogating that Geonosian pretty roughly, and the language, can't trust these things. And then there's something else interesting that the Geonosian does, and he does it twice in the episode, but he draws what they were working on there, what the Imperials were up to on Geonosis. A circle within a circle, which is, it's gotta be a Death Star, no? So yeah, here's what we were up to, huh? And then we also have some more references back to Clone Wars, which is unsurprising. So we see Saw drop a holo of Stila, which Ezra picks up and sees. And hey, for the danger of this episode, because we already dealt with the danger of last episode, that's all fixed. So what do? We've got to bring in an Imperial light cruiser, which luckily an Imperial light cruiser only has a complement of like 2 TIE bombers, so they send them out on recon. Don't worry, we'll destroy them pretty quick with the Ghost, and yeah, then all you've got is a ship. Oh, and side point, at least they don't call for reinforcements. The reason they don't is a little bit of hubris and greed, because after all, hey, the captain's like, hey, we destroyed the Ghost, that means a promotion for all of us. Oh, bonus point, by the way, while they were destroying the bombers down there, Sabine gets this fun line of, stupid sand gets everywhere, because sand was clogging a turret up, so hey, she and Anakin would probably have gotten along well together. Okay, so back over to everybody else. So what else do we find? We head over to where the Geonosian made his little home at, and eventually find out that that Geonosian was actually defending a Geonosian queen egg. So I guess there's a possibility that even if all the Geonosians other than this guy and the egg are wiped out, then hey, maybe they can still restart the civilization from one egg. There's some inbreeding for you. Whoa. And, well, this also leads to a big fight between Ezra and Saw over, well, Click-Clack, as we've named the Geonosian here. Because, well, this is potentially the last of his kind, but, of course, Saw says, well, you need to go ahead and interrogate the guy. Ezra's completely back on the good side here. There's a side of me that feels that we just really needed Ezra to be the other side of this, but it feels more like where Ezra would have been, say, mid-season 2 or earlier on this fight. Not the Ezra that went ahead and had been working the Sith holocron as much as he had. And so I'm not entirely sure if I'm happy with how Ezra acts in here. Because the Ezra we've seen before, as we've been in season 3 and whatnot, feels more like he would have been at least a little more agreeing with Saw than he does. I don't know. Neither here nor there ultimately when it comes to it, because it's not the point as much. It's really more about Saw. Anyway, over we go, and the Ghost is gonna go ahead and head down into the big old shaft to go ahead and rescue all of them. And, well, we rescue our people, and the fight with Saw gets a heck of a lot bigger because, yeah, as much as Kane may have struck a compromise between Ezra and Saw earlier on what to do with Click-Clack, which was, don't worry, we'll go ahead and talk to him and then let Click-Clack go at the end. Sure as heck not enough for Saw. So, yeah, Saw is ready to go to whatever ends are needed to make sure he can get the information out of Click-Clack in the way that he wants to go. Which Saw already by this point has a reputation for being a bit extreme, as Hera went ahead and told Kanan. So, yeah, and Saw, by the way, not happy with Jedi either. Blames the Jedi for losing the last war, which is an interesting interpretation. In some ways, right? In some ways, of course, we're talking about a war that was such a fake war at the same time, too. Lots of real deaths, though. Well, anyway, luckily we break up this fight right there because the Imperial Cruiser decides to show up, and that brings them back on the same side for the moment because we got a bigger enemy here. And we have Imperial Rocket Pack troopers coming down. But hey, guess what? Sabine, we finally have like a legit jetpack on her. We saw her for the moment before in that other episode, but clearly she actually fixed that jetpack up, gave a nice paint job too. And boom, we have flying Mandalorian Sabine. Been waiting for that for a while. Nice, nice. Well, they take them out easily enough, by the way, probably unsurprisingly. And hey, then Click-Clack takes everybody all the way down to the bottom of this giant shaft, and they find some really huge Imperial poison gas canisters. Hey, we have a bit of an answer on what happened to the Geonosians now. And, well, that convinces Saw to let Click-Clack go free and have a chance to rebuild their species. Bit of common ground between them and hating the Empire at that point. And to take care of that whole Imperial light cruiser, the Imperial captain finally decides at this moment to start trying to destabilize the shaft and bury the ghost. I mean, you maybe should have started doing that a little sooner. What can you do, I guess, huh? And far too little, too late, and apparently Captain makes a mistake in their placement of the cruiser, and we allow the ghost to go up and destroy it on their way up. Which, by the way, is a cool shot of that thing getting destroyed, though, nonetheless. And, sadly for us, those 2 gas canisters get dropped along the way, so we won't have that nice evidence to take to the Imperial Senate. But hey, it'll still help the rebel cause anyway, as we hear in our final holo communication with Bail Organa in there. Oh, and final note to close this 2-parter out on, which is Kanan talking and saying to Ezra that you're gonna find not all of our allies share the same values or even fight the Empire for the same reason we do, which is nice to see, because I do love this note because we get to see a little variation in the rebels. Hopefully the promise of them starting to work with other cells will bring even more of this into the show, because too often it's our noble ghost crew, so we don't get to see that. And this just allows for a much more varied representation and much more shades of gray, shall we say, as far as what the rebellion is actually like. So yeah, good episode, good episode. There we go. That was the 3 episodes I'm talking about here today. So definitely some good episodes here. Always love Maul popping in, and Saw was definitely a delight. And a bunch of foreshadowing and setup within some of what's going on in these episodes here. Some Death Star stuff within the Geonosis thing, and then the other episode with both the Darksaber and going ahead and looking at Obi-Wan coming up. So yeah, can't wait to see where all of this is leading. I feel the Death Star one is probably a little bit further down the line here. Maybe season 4 will touch that one a little more. Anyway, on that note, I am gonna go ahead and see a bunch of you tomorrow for the next few episodes live, and don't worry, I'll have another regular video come out the week after. Go ahead and cover those episodes as well. Can't wait to see y'all. And with that, let me ask, well, what about you? What did you think of the Geonosis 2-parter? Or did you like the first episode, Voices and Visions, better? Let me know down below in the comments. And let me take a moment to thank all of my wonderful patrons. If you're interested in helping support the channel through Patreon, there is a link below down in the description. And to everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a like, a share, and don't forget to subscribe. And I am gonna see you back here tomorrow for another new episode of Freeform Disney. Have a magical day, and may the Force be with you always.